How long did it take?
It took me 499 days from order to delivery.
I think I could have gone to 500.
You would think.
Safety third. I debated what to do for this drive. This is my first time driving a Ford Maverick, and I was going to drive it to a place and film the exterior of the vehicle, but I think it's more fun to get my actual initial. Like, I have not turned the key. Yeah, it's now on. It doesn't start up because this is a hybrid. So, oh, it's chiming. Interesting. I've got to have some AC on here. Drive. It's got a little. It's kind of like a Jaguar. You turn the little knob, and it puts it in gear. There's no like shifter on the column. Interesting. Okay. So we're in hybrid mode now. Of course, the AC has to be on because it's warm out. So I've got the fan blowing, and it's got regen braking, which is good to know. Let's see, it does not stay stopped. I know some cars have that stop system where, like, when you step on the brake and you come to a stop, it keeps the vehicle stopped. It does not have that. Interesting. So I'm using, it's got a power meter, kind of like a Rolls-Royce, showing how much power you're using. Nice. Okay, the engine is now on. I definitely heard that. Interesting. I'm just driving it over here to a filming location, but I wanted to give my my initial thoughts. This is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with a CVT. CVTs have been much maligned, mainly because of Nissan, but you know, other companies make CVTs, and honestly, the problem with the Nissan CVT is that people just don't do any maintenance on them. If you ever watch the Car Wizard out of Wichita, he talks about having had one, and actually, you do the maintenance on them, they can last a lot longer. Obviously, you got to change the fluid, and the fluid will have metal shrapnel in it because it's just the way the transmission is. This has some really, you know, immediate get up and go. I'm driving on city streets here. Again, this vehicle is perfect for the owner. He lives in the city limits, but like not in like a downtown city arrangement. So he has need for transporting things from time to time, but also needs a smaller footprint because he doesn't have his own driveway. So it's street parked. So you need something that, you know, will easily fit in a parking spot. And there's a lot of really positive things about having a front-wheel drive pickup truck. I've been giving him a hard time. It's a friend of mine since college, and you know, it's a front-wheel drive pickup truck, and the engine faces the wrong way, but it's cute, you know, and it's exactly perfect for a lot of people in his area. You know, you live in a city, you may be doing things that are outside, carrying a bicycle or anything like that, where you can use a truck bed, but parking an F-150 is just going to be ridiculous because you don't have a place to put it. You don't have a garage, you don't have a driveway, you need somewhere to park on the street, and this is 199 inches long, so that's totally parkable on a city street. And I've got to my doing a little S-turns here just to check out the steering. Yeah, you know, it's got all the fancy gadgets and everything like you would expect in a modern car. I don't know how all they work, so we're gonna have to check that out. Let me give you all a little tour, and then we'll go for a bit more of a drive. Does have the same Ford chime. Let's check out the door shut. Not a bad sound. It does have these. I have these on my Lincoln, and they've been around since the early 80s on Ford products, and they are excellent. You can lock your key in the car when you're at the beach. You don't have to worry about losing it. This, now he calls this vehicle kind of blue, and it is. It's a grayish blue color, and it's actually a pretty good color. As you can see, it is the hybrid model, which means it is front-wheel drive only. Let's see. Tailgate is a normal old-fashioned tailgate, nothing electrical, nothing like that. It does have, you know, a lock, but with it down, you've got a pretty good sized bed here. I mean, for most people, this bed will be completely adequate. You know, since most people use these as family cars, tailgate sounds like a tailgate. Obviously got it already decorated with all of his various and sundry decals. It's got the alloys because it is an XLT. This is not the base model, so it does have some upgrades. And you know, it's got a pretty good front end. It's pretty good face. I think it's cute, but it's just not cute enough to where it's, you know, it's not a cute car. But it does have some cuteness to it. It's probably just because it's size, and you know, it's a pretty good looking vehicle. I definitely think it is. And I know Ford hit it out of the park because they cannot build enough of these. I interviewed him real quickly about his purchase process and how all that went, and let's clip to that real quick now, and so you can see what he went through to get this. So you've probably heard about a lot of issues with people actually getting their Mavericks and their Broncos for that matter, but here's the owner. Hey, what was it like for you when you ordered this vehicle? How long did it take?
It took me 499 days from order to delivery.
I think it could have gone to 500.
You would think, but I think maybe there's a tax cutoff or something like that for that. I ordered in November 21, and then it got rolled over to a model 23 year, and it finally delivered in March of this year, 23. So it is worth the wait, though. I love it.
Great.
Yeah.
So as you can see, it took a while. Let's take a look under the hood here. Ah, the engine just came on. Great. Let's see if I can find where the hood release is. I can't. Oh, it doesn't have a secondary release. That's interesting. So there's the 2.5 liter. You can see, obviously it's a hybrid. It's got all of the accessories and goodies there. It's actually a little sandy. I know he took this down to the Outer Banks not that long ago, so I'll have to get on him to clean it. But see all the accessories for the hybrid there, but there's a little 4-cylinder purring away. Actually sounded pretty good when I shut that door, or the hood. Hopping to the inside, there's some nice touches. You can see there's a place for a bottle here, and you know, different colors to differentiate things. This is the, you know, the grab handle here, little Ford like touches like that, just to make it you know more interesting, more visually appealing. You know, decent sized back seat. It would probably be tight for me to sit back here with my legs, but I'm about 6'3". Let me see if I can get, you can watch me get in this way. Yeah, he's got a pocket on the back of the seat here, so that takes up more room. But as you can see, with the seat where I would drive, it's a little tight back here, but it's a little pickup. So, the kitty cat's waving. I don't know if I could take a long trip back here, but for now it's perfectly comfortable. It's even got a pull down armrest here with cup holders right in the center, so I can rest my arm. But for anybody who's not 6'4", you could easily sit back here. It is comfortable. The seat back's not too upright, and there's plenty of room. You've even got the obligatory oh crap handle up here, and they didn't even skimp on the cool orange door pull. And you still got giant bottle storage back here. You can put like a 1 liter Coke in here. I don't think it'd fit a 2 liter, but do you really want to be drinking that much while you're sitting in a car? You're gonna have to go to the bathroom all the time. All right, let's hop up front. I will turn the air conditioning down a bit. Oh, fan speed 1. So I can stay cool, but the fan will not bother us. As I was showing earlier, this is the battery reserve, engine power reserve, like you would see in a Rolls Royce. And when you step on the gas, which it won't really let me do because I'm in park. That's so weird on modern cars. That moves just like it would on a Rolls Royce. You've got, you know, all of your controls here for lighting, gas door, a bed light, which is nice, and then you can raise or lower the rheostat there. Usual cruise control on the steering wheel. Ford's done that since the 80s, just like it did with you know, with the thing on the door, so you can unlock yourself that I showed earlier. Height adjustable seat belts. And just a lot of, you know, interesting different colors in here. A lot of the orange, and I know he's added a bunch of different things that are from the aftermarket here that, you know, kind of speak to the vehicle, and I think he's going to actually do some videos on that, so stay tuned for those. But different materials on the seat just to make it look visually interesting. Again, you got the orange, you've got these bolts holding it in, speaker. These come with CarPlay and Android Auto standard, I think, even in the cheapest model, which is really nice. So you, of course, don't have any way of having a nav system in here, at least in this model. But if you're using, in my case, CarPlay, it's automatically going to have that there. I have not connected my phone because it's not my vehicle. I don't need to, and the cat's still waving. But it's a decent enough screen size. It's at a good, at least for me, it's at a very good line of sight. When I'm looking out, I can see that. And it obviously controls other things when I turn the fan speed up. As you can see, that's on the screen too, even though it does have the same thing there on the button itself. So that's a pretty good, you know, way of utilizing the screen without it being all your controls are on a screen. I know people hate that. The car manufacturers seem to be finally listening to that and giving people buttons, which of course in this level of vehicle, that's more to be expected. All right, so I drove it over here, but I think I need to see what this is like on the highway. So let me get you all mounted up here on the windshield, and we'll take this for maybe a little bit more of a drive and see what it's like at high speed. All right, I'm about to get on ramp here, and all right, I went almost to 100% power. Already going 60. You know, you're not going to think this truck is underpowered. If you opt for the non-hybrid version, you can get four-wheel drive, and that's got a turbo 2-liter, about 250 horsepower, which I believe is the same engine that's in the Bronco Sport. This is the same platform as the Bronco Sport and the Escape. So it's, I mean, we're going to national speed limit right now, basically 70 miles an hour, along with everyone else. And I mean, there's some wind noise. The vehicle's shaped like a Volvo. That's to be expected, but it's not onerous. And of course, you can always turn the radio up, which I don't have on because I'm speaking with y'all. Seems to be nice. It's a nice smooth stretch of road. But I'm going to be going over a bridge that goes over the river here, and I'm visiting friends and family in Richmond, Virginia, and got the opportunity to drive this while I was here, so I had to. And there'll be some, it's a concrete bridge, there'll be some bumps and whoop-de-woos on there, and see how that happens. But I did want to take this out on the interstate and just kind of see what it's like. The steering is actually fairly heavy. I'm sure it's electric steering there. Here's the expansion joints. You can probably see the camera moving a little bit as I go over this bridge, but it's not bad. The wheelbase is fairly long. It is a 199-inch long vehicle, which is not short, but it's short for a pickup truck, especially a four-door one that I can fit in the back of. So, fudge!
Tomorrow for sure.
You may be wondering, Doug, why are you wearing a different t-shirt? Well, here's the fun behind making YouTube videos or videos in general. When I was just now driving the vehicle, was actually yesterday, the camera decided to disconnect itself from the windshield. I use a suction cup to hold my GoPros up on the windshield, and in various other places when I film other things. Well, it decided to fall down. So when I reattached it at the toll booth that I stopped at on that road, I hit the time-lapse setting on GoPros. There's one button, and there's 3 settings on that camera, with like photo, video camera, and time-lapse, which I wish I could just make those other 2 go away, because I only use it for regular video. So time-lapse happened, and I had a pretty heavy filming day yesterday, so the time I realized it was already too late to do anything about it yesterday. So here I am back in the Maverick, and I'm going to include that footage at the end because it's all sped up, and there's no way to recover it into like a regular format. It doesn't record audio, and it skips out many frames, so it's useless. Stay tuned for the very end if you want to see that lovely screw up. So, but basically all I was doing was I was exiting the highway in the Maverick and just having my final thoughts, as I normally do. You know, these vehicles are hard to find. If you can find one, get it. I don't think you're gonna ever, this is not gonna be a bad choice. If this were a $40,000 vehicle, there would be some drawbacks, but in the mid-20s to maybe 30 grand, this is a fine vehicle. There's a couple like the steering wheel's not leather, it's vinyl, but it feels fine. I prefer a leather steering wheel, but I also prefer BMWs, and I don't have any of those right now. So please hit subscribe so I can buy another BMW someday. But it is a really pleasant place to be. It's fairly quiet on the highway. I imagine if you were playing some tunes, you wouldn't even notice the little bit of tire noise and things like that you hear in a vehicle that's, let's be honest, slightly more budget conscious. They're not going to put as much sound deadening in. It is also a pickup truck, so you're going to have a little bit more noise. You've got the bed on the back and all that. My only real thought on this, and I was discussing this with the owner, this would be so cool if it had a midgate, like the Chevy Avalanche and the Cadillac Escalade pickup used to have. They had 2 generations of those, and basically the rear wall of the cab, the window came out, and the bottom part folded down, and you could fold the rear seat down. I know this rear seat does fold down as one unit, and some people are annoyed about that because they have kid seats or something like that. That's not a problem for me. Of course, I also don't own one of these. However, those were much more expensive vehicles. Obviously, one was an Escalade. That was, very expensive car back then, and the Avalanche was not cheap either. However, that would be a really cool idea on these. Would obviously be an expensive option. There's no doubt in my mind that it would be probably a couple grand. But how cool would that be? Because to fold all that down, then you can slide in the 4x8 sheet of plywood or whatever, a sofa, whatever thing you're bringing, and still fold up the tailgate, or hopefully fold up the tailgate. That may cause other issues with structural rigidity and things like that, but that's all besides the point. That would be an awesome thing to add to a Maverick. So, it doesn't have that. That's not an option. Doesn't matter. Just that was my thought. Otherwise, this is a very well thought out, very well appointed vehicle for the price. You're not missing anything. You don't crank your own windows. You got a remote to lock the car. All these modern things that we take for granted. It comes with CarPlay or Android Auto, and those creature comforts that nobody had 40 years ago are all on this car. So you will not go wrong. It drives well. It has a nice bed. It has a very nice interior for the price, and I highly recommend it. So that's probably what I said yesterday, because again, I don't remember exactly what I said because I can't go back and watch the footage. However, buy a Maverick if you're in the market for a small pickup truck. My advice is get the 4-wheel drive one. Now, my friend has a long commute, and that's why he got the hybrid, which is only front-wheel drive. But I'm a proponent of 4-wheel drive if it's available. Even though I live in Florida, we get a lot of rain, heavy rain, things like that. It's good to have the extra traction. So that's my advice. Take it. Also, thanks so much for watching Doug's Cars. Hit subscribe and watch this video a lot so I can afford, one of those BMWs I mentioned. It won't be the one with the big grille in the front because they're hideous. But maybe like a 2001 Z3 3.0. That would be fun to drive around my little island. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I hope you enjoyed the Ford Maverick. Please stay tuned for the crazy ending that wasn't. Thanks for watching Doug's Cars.